Have you ever wondered why so many people pass away before turning 85, even though they looked perfectly fine just a few years earlier? It's a painful paradox, isn't it? You eat your home-cooked meals, take your medicines on time, visit the doctor once in a while, and yet something seems to quietly chip away at your strength, your energy, your joy. The truth is, it's not one big disease that takes most people down. It's the silent daily habits we ignore, the small mistakes repeated again and again after 60 that slowly wear us out without warning. But here's the good news. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 9 most dangerous habits that shorten your life after 60, and more importantly, how you can change them starting today. These are simple, practical, and deeply relevant to our Indian lifestyle. So if you're serious about living not just longer, but better, stay with me. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this from, and what time of day is it? Please share in the comments below. Even a small moment from your day means a lot to me. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an important update. Why is it that so many people in India pass away before the age of 85, even though they appeared perfectly fine just a few years earlier? It's a question that quietly lingers in the minds of many older adults here, from the narrow lanes of Varanasi to the peaceful gardens of Mysore. You may be eating homemade food, taking your medicines on time, and even getting your blood pressure or sugar checked during your regular clinic visits. And yet, something unseen feels like it is slowly taking away your strength, your sharpness, your joy of living day to day. You are not alone in this feeling. Many senior citizens in India silently worry about this exact thing, why they feel more tired with each passing year, even when there's no illness in sight. The truth is not dramatic. It doesn't come with sirens or hospital beds. It comes silently through small habits we ignore every single day. Habits that look harmless on the surface but slowly reduce the body's ability to protect itself from aging. Let's pause here for a moment. Because what I'm about to say may surprise you, but it could also change your life after 60 in a powerful way. You see, it's not the big diseases that take most of us early. It's the small things, sitting for too long, not moving enough, skipping checkups, eating just a bit too much fried food, telling ourselves this is just part of getting old when in fact it's not. These tiny choices build up day after day until one day it's no longer easy to walk across the room without support. It becomes harder to remember names or follow conversations. The stairs feel steeper and sleep becomes lighter. And by the time we notice, the decline has already begun. In India, this is even more common because of the pressure many elders face. We grow up believing that after retirement, we must take a backseat, stay at home, and quietly watch the world move on. Especially for women in places like Tamil Nadu or Gujarat, there's often an expectation to remain in the background, focusing only on puja, cooking, or watching TV. But science tells us something different. Even after 60, the brain is still capable of growing new cells. The heart still responds to positive habits like walking or reducing stress. The immune system still listens when we feed it the right foods. Let me give you an example. There was an elderly gentleman named Mr. Rao from Hyderabad. He used to be a teacher, but after retirement, he spent most of his time sitting watching the news or drinking chai alone. He felt no major illness, but complained of stiffness in the legs and increasing forgetfulness. His son encouraged him to start walking every morning for just 15 minutes around the neighborhood park. At first, it was hard. But after 3 weeks, Mr. Rao started feeling more energetic. His digestion improved. His sleep became deeper. Even his mood lifted, and he found himself laughing more with the local fruit vendor. This is not magic, it's biology. Movement activates circulation, sends oxygen to the brain, and triggers the release of feel-good hormones called endorphins. When you move, your body believes it still has purpose, and it begins to support you better. Now, let's talk about something else: loneliness. In cities like Delhi or Mumbai, many elders live alone while their children work in other countries or metro towns. On the outside, everything looks normal. But inside, the mind feels disconnected, forgotten. This emotional stress has a physical cost. Studies in AIIMS and Apollo hospitals have shown that chronic loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and memory loss. Why? Because your brain needs meaningful human interaction just like your body needs clean water. When you speak to someone you trust, laugh at a joke, or share memories with your old college friend, your brain produces oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It calms the nervous system and keeps inflammation in check. But when we withdraw thinking, "I don't want to disturb anyone," we slowly shrink from life. And that, my friend, is a bigger danger than we realize. There's another habit we often overlook: ignoring early signs of inflammation. That nagging pain in your knees, the swelling in your fingers when you wake up, that cloudy feeling in your head after a heavy lunch. These are not always normal signs of age. They could be signs of chronic inflammation, a condition where your body stays in low-grade alert mode for months, even years. When inflammation goes unchecked, it begins to damage healthy tissues. It affects your joints, your memory, your blood vessels, and your digestion. But here's the good news. You can reduce this risk by making small, consistent changes. Incorporating turmeric milk, adding drumsticks and methi to your sabzi, drinking warm jeera water, or simply eating fewer sweets each week. These are not just old Indian traditions. They're backed by science, now being studied even in Western medical journals. And finally, perhaps the most important truth I can share: your mindset matters. When you believe that your time is over, your body listens. When you decide that each day is still meaningful, your brain releases chemicals that protect and energize. One elderly lady in Pune began volunteering to teach basic English to underprivileged children. She was 76, had no formal degree, but had a deep love for learning. Over time, she said, she began to feel young from the inside again. That feeling is priceless. So if you've been feeling stuck, tired, or uncertain about what your future looks like after 60, tug heart. There is still time. There is still strength in you. And every day is a new page in your story, not the last chapter. We'll explore more specific mistakes and solutions in the next parts. But for now, just remember, these small steps taken daily make all the difference. The hardest part about getting older in India is that the changes come slowly, almost quietly, like a breeze passing through your home before dawn. You don't notice them right away. One day, you bend to pick something up and feel a slight strain in your back. Another day, you feel just a little too tired to bathe before breakfast. And suddenly, a few months later, even walking from your bed to the kitchen feels like climbing the steps of Charminar in Hyderabad. This is how the body begins to slow, not with a loud announcement, but with a whisper that becomes clearer over time. The truth is, most people don't lose strength after 60 because of illness. They lose it because they stop moving. In our Indian culture, especially in families across Rajasthan and Kerala, the elderly are often told to take rest after retirement. While rest is important, too much of it becomes a silent danger. The body begins to adapt to stillness. The brain muscles and heart quietly adjust to doing less. And over time, this leads to what doctors now call functional decline, a gradual loss of balance, strength, and confidence. Let's pause here, because this is not about exercise in the way most people think. You don't need to join a gym in Delhi or do yoga on the beach in Goa. What your body really needs is simple, regular movements that are natural, easy, and built into your day. Here's why. When you move, even just by walking across your house or stretching while making chai, your heart starts pumping more blood. This blood carries oxygen to your brain, keeping you alert and helping you remember names, faces, and details. Movement also releases chemicals in your body like serotonin and endorphins that improve your mood and reduce stress. This is why doctors in India have begun recommending movement breaks to elders who sit for long hours. Scientific studies, including one from a hospital in Bengaluru, found that standing up and walking for just 3 minutes every 30 minutes reduced the risk of early death by over 30%. Not by running, not by lifting weights, just standing and moving gently. Let me tell you about someone I met last year during a community talk in Pune. Her name was Mrs. Leela, a retired school teacher in her late 70s who once taught English in a small school in Satara. After retirement, she spent most of her time sitting crocheting, reading scriptures, or watching TV. She believed her life was peaceful, but she also began to notice something. Her knees ached more. Her digestion was slower, and she felt unusually sleepy during the day. One morning, she slipped slightly while getting out of bed. There was no injury, but it scared her. Her daughter, a physiotherapist in Mumbai, told her something very simple. Amma, don't sit for more than 30 minutes at a stretch. Just stand, stretch, or walk anything. Mrs. Leela took this to heart. She placed a small timer on the kitchen shelf. Every 30 minutes, it beeped softly, and she would get up, walk across her veranda, or do arm circles near her prayer corner. 6 months later, when I spoke to her again, she told me something beautiful. I feel younger now, not because I run or do yoga, but because I remembered that my body was made to move. And she's right. This is not about pushing yourself. It's about gently reminding your body that it still matters, that it is still part of the rhythm of daily life in India, whether you live in a flat in Noida or a village near Madurai. Here's what happens when you stop moving. Your muscles quietly shrink. Your bones become weaker. Your joints grow stiff, and your balance suffers. But more than that, your brain begins to slow down. The circuits responsible for memory, decision-making, and joy all rely on fresh oxygen and blood flow, both of which improve with movement. Your body is like a house in Kolkata during monsoon season. If you leave it closed and unused, the walls gather dampness, the doors jam, and the air grows heavy. But if you open the windows, sweep the floors, and let sunlight in each morning, it breathes again. Movement is your sunlight. Another important reason this matters is the mindset many older Indians have learned to accept. We're told, especially after 65, it's normal to slow down, ab to budhape ka samay hai, aur bas ab aaram karo. Yes, slowing down is natural, but inactivity is not. The difference is small, but the effect is huge. When we treat motion as optional, we quietly speed up the process we fear the most, losing our independence. Here's the simple truth. Longevity doesn't belong to the strongest or youngest. It belongs to those who keep moving slowly, steadily, consistently. Even if it's just a few steps around your home, standing while folding clothes, or swaying gently during bhajans, it matters. So today, I ask you, where in your day can you bring back movement? Maybe it's walking to the terrace after lunch, Maybe it's dancing lightly to an old Lata Mangeshkar song while you make evening tea. Or maybe it's simply choosing to walk to the temple instead of going by scooter. Every step you take is a message to your body. I'm still here. I still care. I still choose to live fully, not just survive. Because after all, your body is not a machine to retire. It is a companion that's walked with you from your school days to your grandchild's wedding. And it still wants to walk with you if only you let it. Voiceover script. Health after 60 in India approx. 1,000 words. Mod Joan Van Truyen Kamro Rang Hu audiobook. Fan Webo Kwa Kam Sukwejin Kidan Chongoi Ga Tayanjo. Sometimes the most dangerous health problems for older adults in India are not the ones that cause pain or show up with loud symptoms. They are the quiet ones, the silent changes happening inside your body, unnoticed for months or even years. And by the time they finally show their face, they've already caused damage that could have been avoided with just one timely checkup. This is one of the reasons many elders in India don't make it to 85, even though they appeared healthy in their 70s. Because in our culture, especially in places like Odisha or rural Uttar Pradesh, going to the doctor is still often seen as something you do only when something hurts. Many elders say, I'm okay, no pain, so why go? But here's the reality. Some of the deadliest health issues after 60, like high blood pressure, diabetes, and early stage cancers, don't hurt in the beginning. They creep in quietly, like the slow flow of the Yamuna on a windless morning. They affect your heart, kidneys, eyesight, and immunity, but you don't feel them until it's too late. And by then, reversing the damage becomes much harder, sometimes even impossible. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on this truth. It's not lack of medicine that harms us, it's lack of awareness. And sadly, this lack of awareness is made worse by fear. Fear of hearing bad news. Fear of being told something is wrong. Fear that if we go to the hospital, we may not come back the same. But fear, if not faced, only grows. And in the case of health, avoiding fear can cost you precious years of life you could have spent with your grandchildren or watching the mango tree in your backyard bloom another season. Now, let's look at it from another angle. What happens when you do go for a checkup regularly? First, you catch problems early at a time when they are easier to manage and often reversible. For example, high blood sugar in the early stage doesn't require strong medicines. It may only need simple changes like walking after meals or reducing sweets. Second, regular checkups build what doctors call preventive confidence. That means you don't live in fear of the unknown. You know your numbers, your risks, and your strengths. You're no longer guessing what's happening inside your body. You're taking charge of it. Let me share the story of a retired railway worker from Nagpur, Mr. Arvind, who is now 74. He used to avoid hospitals like most elders do. He said, I feel fine, why waste time and money? But after his daughter insisted, he went for a full-body checkup at a government hospital. To his surprise, his blood pressure was 160/100. He had never felt dizzy, never had chest pain, but his heart was under quiet strain for months. Thanks to early detection, he didn't need heavy medicines, just a small daily tablet, light evening walks, and cutting down on salty snacks like pakoras and pickles. 3 months later, he felt more energetic and even slept better. What changed was not just his numbers, but his mindset. He said, I realized my body is still trying to support me, I just have to support it back. And that's the message I want to share with every elder in India today. Your body is not against you. It's always giving signals, always trying to keep you alive, alert, and well. But it can't do it alone. It needs you to show up to the checkup counter, to the blood test room, and most importantly, to your own health. In cities like Bengaluru or Ahmedabad, many clinics now offer health packages for seniors that check your heart, kidneys, blood sugar, thyroid, and more all in one visit. Even government hospitals like AIIMS or district PHCs in Tamil Nadu offer free or subsidized screenings for older adults. These services exist not to scare you, but to protect you. When your scooter is making a strange sound, you don't wait for it to break down, you check the engine. Then why do we wait for our body to give up before checking under the hood? Health is not just about reacting to sickness, it's about building a routine of awareness. Now, I understand, some of you may still hesitate. You may say, what if they find something bad? But what if they don't? Or what if they find something early? Something you can fix now before it becomes serious? Knowing the truth gives you choices. Avoiding it only gives you worry. And let's not forget the emotional benefit. When you take care of your health, you feel more confident to travel, attend weddings, play with your grandkids, or go for a darshan at the temple. Because nothing limits your joy after 65 more than uncertainty about your body. And nothing restores your spirit faster than feeling strong from the inside. So today, I invite you, don't wait for pain to remind you that your body exists. Listen now while it's still whispering gently. Book that appointment, get your basic tests, and build a yearly health ritual just like you do puja or visit relatives during Diwali. You don't need fancy tests or expensive hospitals. You just need consistency, curiosity, and courage, because your body is still writing your story. And with just a little attention and care, it can write many beautiful chapters ahead. What truly separates the elders who thrive in their 80s from those who struggled through their 70s is not just medicine, diet, or exercise. It's awareness, knowing what's going on inside your body, your mind, and your emotional world. And sometimes, what you don't know is exactly what can hurt you the most. There's a common belief in many Indian homes, "Jo na jaane, wo chinta bhi na kare," what we don't know won't trouble us. But after 60, the opposite is true. What you don't know can quietly take away your strength, your balance, and even your will to live. Think of health screenings like blood pressure checks, sugar tests, or even prostate exams not as bad news waiting to happen, but as guardrails on a winding road. They don't take away your freedom. They keep you steady when life throws unexpected turns. They give you control over your journey even when you can't see what's ahead clearly. But health is not just numbers on a report or medicines on the shelf. It's peace of mind, the feeling that you're not walking into the unknown alone. Knowing your cholesterol levels, understanding your vitamin B12, or being aware of your bone density isn't about becoming fearful. It's about becoming confident. Because with confidence, you sleep better. You worry less. You make wiser choices about food, rest, and relationships. And slowly, this turns into a ripple effect. Less stress, better immunity, more energy. And now, we need to talk about something even quieter, something that many Indian seniors experience, but few speak of openly. That silent, invisible danger is loneliness. In cities like Lucknow or Kochi, or even in small towns like Cuttack or Tanjavur, thousands of older people wake up each morning with no one to talk to. Their children live abroad or work long hours. Their neighbors are polite but distant. And slowly, day by day, something inside begins to fade. Not just their memory or their muscles, but their sense of being needed, of belonging. This kind of emotional emptiness is not just sad. It is dangerous. Modern research from both India and abroad has shown that chronic loneliness raises the risk of early death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It weakens the immune system. It worsens sleep. It increases blood pressure and can even lead to cognitive decline, making memory and focus harder to maintain. But beyond the science, the feeling of being alone chips away at the spirit. You may remember the days when your house was filled with the sound of children, laughing utensils clinking in the kitchen, and neighbors dropping by without calling. But now, even the sound of the pressure cooker feels loud in an otherwise silent house. This shift can be hard to accept, and it's natural for many elders to withdraw thinking, I don't want to disturb anyone, or they must be busy with their own lives. So you stay home. You stop calling. You say, less hope, less, and in some cases, feel less. But the truth is, when you isolate yourself, you don't just disappear from other people's lives. You slowly disappear from your own. Let's pause for a breath here. Because this doesn't mean you need a house full of guests or endless social events. What we need, especially after 60, is real, meaningful connection. A face that lights up when they see you. A voice that calls to check in, not just when something is needed. Someone who listens without rushing, who shares without judging. In India, we have such a deep tradition of community chai on the veranda, satsang in the temple, chatting with neighbors during evening walks. These are not just cultural rituals. They are life-saving habits deeply tied to mental and emotional health. Take the story of Mr. Iqbal from Amritsar. After his wife passed away, he went nearly 6 months without any real conversation except for a few words with the vegetable vendor. He stopped shaving, skipped meals, and even began forgetting to take his blood pressure medicine. One day, his old friend came to visit and said, "You are still here, but you are not living." That visit changed everything. Mr. Iqbal began going to the Gurdwara again. He joined a reading group at the local library. He didn't feel like the life of the party, but he felt alive again. And slowly, his energy returned, his appetite improved, and even his blood pressure stabilized. Because connection heals. Not just the heart, but the body. Even one friend, one neighbor, or one community group can make a powerful difference. It can be as simple as calling your childhood friend in Chennai once a week, or joining the morning laughter group in your nearby park, or teaching a child in your neighborhood how to read Hindi or play Karom. When you connect, you send a signal to your brain and body that says, I am still part of this world. I still have something to offer. I still belong. And here's something beautiful. When you offer yourself to others, they benefit too. Your presence may be exactly what someone else needs to feel seen, heard, or hopeful. So the next time you hesitate to pick up the phone or accept an invitation, remind yourself, this isn't just a moment of small talk. It could be a moment that adds life to your years. It may surprise you to know that elders who live with chronic loneliness have a 26 to 45% higher risk of dying early, even when their body seems otherwise fine. And this is not some foreign study. This has been observed right here in India too, in homes across Jaipur, in silent flats in Mumbai, and even in peaceful villages of Uttarakhand. Because when you live day after day without real human connection, it does something deeper than just make you sad. It begins to wear down your health in ways that are invisible at first but serious in the long run. You see, isolation chips away at everything: your sleep, your immunity, your appetite, and even your ability to think clearly. Science has shown that loneliness increases levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, which then weakens your immune system and makes you more vulnerable to infections. It also reduces the production of serotonin and dopamine chemicals in your brain, responsible for keeping your mood steady and your memory sharp. So when those chemicals drop, it becomes harder to feel motivated, stay active, or even enjoy simple pleasures like your evening tea. Now imagine someone like Ramesh Ji from Kanpur. He is 78 years old and lost his wife 4 years ago. His children now live abroad, one in Canada, the other in Bengaluru. For the first year, he still cooked, went to temple and chatted with the local shopkeeper. But slowly, the silence at home began to grow heavier. He stopped shaving regularly, lost interest in food, and began to complain of aches in his joints, not because of arthritis, but because of emptiness. It wasn't until his neighbor, a retired postmaster, invited him to a weekly book reading club at the park that something shifted. He hesitated at first. "I don't know anyone there," he said. But that one small yes opened a door. At that park, he met people his age who shared stories, laughed at silly jokes, and even argued about cricket scores from the 80s. Within a month, his smile returned. He slept better, ate with interest again, and even started offering to read aloud to others who had weaker eyesight. This is not magic. It's biology and emotion working together. Because human connection is not a luxury, it is a need as basic as food and water. When we talk, laugh, or simply sit with someone we trust, our brain rewards us with oxytocin, a hormone that calms anxiety and lowers inflammation. Yes, even your body's ability to manage pain and swelling improves when you feel emotionally connected. And yet, across India, many elders believe that their loneliness is something they must quietly bear. They say, "I don't want to trouble anyone," or "my children are too busy." So they stay home, keep the curtains drawn, and watch the days go by like passing clouds. But here's a gentle truth: waiting for others to notice you are lonely doesn't work. People are often busy, distracted, or simply unaware of how deeply you may be hurting inside. Which means, dear friend, you have to be your own advocate for connection. You have to take the first step, even when it feels uncomfortable. It might be as small as calling an old school friend in Kolkata, or sitting outside your home in Bhopal during evening hours when neighbors pass by, or joining a Bhajan group, a gardening club, or even a chai circle at the temple veranda. These small acts of bravery are like gentle bridges back to life. And once you cross them, you'll discover that your laughter, your strength, your spark are all still there, quietly waiting for your return. And let's go one step deeper. When you isolate yourself, it's not just that others miss out on you, you miss out on you. Because it's only in conversation, in being heard and seen, that we remember who we are. You are not just someone who cooks or prays or takes medicines. You are a storyteller, a bearer of wisdom, a source of comfort to someone who needs exactly what you carry inside. The experiences you've had growing up in Chennai, or living through the 1971 war, or raising children during India's tech revolution, these stories matter. They give meaning not just to you, but to the younger generation that is lost in their phones, searching for depth without knowing where to find it. You are that depth. Your presence is a blessing. So if you've been feeling distant or invisible lately, don't wait for a grand moment. Start small. Say hello to the newspaper boy. Ask your rickshaw driver how his day was. Walk into the local library and ask about community events. Wave at the child playing cricket in the lane near your house. Because every connection begins with a single step. And every step you take toward people brings a little more life into your day. And the beautiful part is, it's never too late. Even if you are 70, 75 or 80, the heart still longs to be seen, to be held in conversation, to be remembered. So today I ask you, what is one small connection you can begin again? Is there a friend you can call, a group you can join, a smile you can offer to someone who may be just as lonely as you? Because healing begins not only in hospitals, but also in the spaces between two people. And when you open that space with honesty and warmth, something incredible happens. You come back to life. Sometimes the pain in your knees, the stiffness in your back, or that constant feeling of tiredness is not just a part of getting old. It could be something deeper, something happening quietly inside your body without loud symptoms or visible warning signs. It could be chronic inflammation, and if left unchecked, it can slowly damage your organs and your quality of life in ways you may not realize. This is especially important for seniors in India, where many of these signs are dismissed as normal old age or just body pain due to weather. But here's the truth. Inflammation in small bursts is actually a good thing. It's your body's natural way of healing. When you get a cut while slicing vegetables or twist your ankle on the stairs, your immune system sends chemicals to the injury to repair it. That's inflammation doing its job. The swelling, redness, and warmth in those moments mean your body is working hard to protect you. But when the same process continues for days, weeks, or even months without stopping, it becomes harmful. It's like leaving a fire smoldering under your kitchen counter. It may not burn down your home in one night, but over time, it will weaken the entire structure. Chronic inflammation quietly damages your joints, blood vessels, brain cells, and even your heart. And what's worse, it does all this silently without the kind of sharp pain that gets your attention. That's why many people over 60 from cities like Chennai to towns like Ajmer live with inflammation for years without even knowing it. Now let's talk about what this looks like in daily life. Maybe you wake up feeling foggy, like your mind is wrapped in a soft cloth. Or you notice that small wounds take longer to heal. Or that you feel exhausted even after a full night's sleep. Your digestion may feel sluggish, your energy low, and your mood more irritable than before. These may seem like small, unrelated issues, but often they're part of one big problem your body is trying to whisper to you. Inflammation is active. Many seniors in India mistake this for just age. But what they're really feeling is the result of a body stuck in fight mode, producing inflammatory signals day after day. Let me share the story of Sarita Aunty from Nashik. She's 73, a retired teacher who once loved gardening and making masala chai for her grandchildren. But over the past 2 years, she began to feel tired all the time. Her joints ached, and even climbing the stairs to her terrace became a burden. She thought it was just aging. But after a routine test, her doctor found high levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of chronic inflammation in the body. Instead of starting her on strong medicines, her doctor suggested a different approach. They began by changing what she ate, removing processed snacks like biscuits, fried foods, and cutting down on sugar. They added traditional anti-inflammatory items that many Indian kitchens already have: turmeric milk, methi seeds, leafy vegetables, and a daily handful of soaked almonds. Sarita also started walking in the morning around the society garden, even if it was only 15 minutes at first. 3 months later, something changed. Her pain reduced, her sleep improved, and for the first time in a long time, she laughed out loud during her evening tea with neighbors. That is the power of reducing inflammation, not just to ease physical symptoms, but to restore joy, energy, and confidence. Because inflammation doesn't just affect your body, it affects your mind too. You may feel more anxious without knowing why. You may feel sad, unmotivated, or short-tempered more often. That's because chronic inflammation alters your brain chemistry, reducing feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin and making stress harder to handle. And this emotional burden, if ignored, can spiral into social withdrawal, depression, and a faster decline in health than necessary. But here's the good news: you have more control over inflammation than you think. It starts with your plate. Many Indian foods, when chosen wisely, can heal you. Foods rich in ghee, when taken moderately, or spices like turmeric, cinnamon, and black pepper have been shown to reduce inflammatory markers. Green leafy vegetables like palak, methi, and drumstick leaves are rich in antioxidants that neutralize the toxins that feed inflammation. And don't underestimate the power of seasonal fruits. Papaya, amla, guava, and berries all protect your cells and slow aging at the root. Then comes movement. You don't need to walk 5 kilometers or go to the gym. Just regular gentle motion, stretching in the morning, walking in your courtyard, or even doing household chores can improve circulation and signal your body to stop producing stress chemicals. Sleep matters too. When you don't sleep well, your body stays in a stressed state and inflammation grows stronger. So make your nights sacred: no heavy food late, no loud TV till midnight, and no arguing before bed. And finally, manage your mind. Meditation, deep breathing, and even quiet prayer have been shown to lower inflammation levels. Whether it's reciting the Gayatri mantra, sitting silently at your home altar, or simply doing Anulam Vilom on your balcony in the early morning, these small rituals calm your nervous system and invite healing. Remember this: every positive habit sends a message to your body. You are safe now. You can heal. You can rest. And when your body hears this message, it responds. It begins to repair what was broken. It begins to let go of the quiet war it was fighting inside. And that, dear friend, is the secret to aging with grace, clarity, and strength in the heart of India. Every time you take action to reduce inflammation or improve your well-being, you're not just helping your body, you're sending a clear message to yourself. You're saying, I'm not done yet. I still have life to live. I still belong here. That message may seem small, but it carries enormous power, especially for someone in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s living in India today. It marks the difference between simply surviving each day and actually waking up excited for what lies ahead. Because when your mindset changes, your body listens, your energy returns, and your life regains rhythm. Now let's talk about something just as important as blood sugar or joint pain, but far less discussed: purpose. There is a reason why elders who live with a sense of purpose often live longer and with better health. It's not just a spiritual idea. It is biology, psychology, and the wisdom of Indian culture woven together. When you wake up with something to look forward to, even something small, your brain becomes more active. Your heart beats with a little more meaning. Your steps feel lighter, and your body finds reasons to move. But sadly, in many Indian households from Shimla to Madurai, this spark begins to fade after 65. The children are grown and living elsewhere. The job is long gone, the home is quieter, and the calendar is no longer filled with events and responsibilities. At first, this silence may feel peaceful. But slowly, it turns into something else. A kind of emptiness that feels harder and harder to fill. Many seniors find themselves repeating the same pattern every day. Eat, nap, watch TV, scroll through old photos. The days blend into each other, and even festivals like Diwali or Holi feel like shadows of what they once were. This is not just aging, it's something more dangerous. It's called disconnection, and it is one of the quietest threats to a healthy old age. When you lose your sense of purpose, your body begins to mirror that failing. Your immune system weakens. Your motivation to move or interact drops. You begin to isolate yourself not because you want to, but because you no longer see why it matters. There's even a scientific term for this existential frailty. It describes what happens when the absence of meaning starts affecting physical health. It can lead to depression, insomnia, faster cognitive decline, and even an earlier death. But it's not just science. It's also something many elders across India feel in their hearts, but may not know how to put into words. Let me tell you about Mr. Mehra from Chandigarh. He was a retired bank officer, highly respected during his working years, with a voice that used to fill meeting rooms. But after retirement and then losing his wife, he slowly drifted into a routine of quiet meals and long silences. He said, "I feel like the world no longer needs me." He wasn't sick, but he wasn't living either. Then one day, his granddaughter asked for help with a school speech on Indian freedom fighters. Mr. Mehra loved history, and he began telling her stories, real stories, about what he saw as a child during partition. She recorded him, added the stories to her speech, and won her school competition. That was the turning point. From that day, Mr. Mehra started preparing short lessons on Indian history and offered to share them at the local library's senior group. He had purpose again, not because of the applause, but because he was being useful, seen, and valued. His posture improved. He began smiling more. Even his chronic back pain became easier to manage. This is the magic of purpose. It doesn't have to be big. You don't need to start a business or lead a community project. Sometimes it's as simple as tending to your tulsi plant every morning, helping a neighbor with their ration forms, or teaching your grandchildren to cook dosa the way your mother taught you. Purpose gives structure to your days. It provides rhythm and direction. It helps you feel that your story is still unfolding, that you are still the author. And here's something beautiful about Indian culture. Purpose is not limited by age. Our elders are often considered Ghar ka Shubh Chinha, a sign of blessing in the home. You carry the wisdom, the stories, the values that help guide the next generation. And your role, though it may change, never becomes less important. If you feel like your life has become quiet, repetitive, or small, ask yourself, what is something, no matter how simple, that gives me a sense of meaning? Is it cooking that one family recipe that everyone loves? Is it helping a neighbor's child with homework? Is it organizing old photos and writing down the names and stories behind them? Even just thinking about these things begins to awaken something inside. And if your answer is, "I don't know anymore," that's okay too. Because meaning doesn't arrive like a thunderstorm, it arrives like a soft breeze. You just have to stay open to it. Try something new, even if it's small. Join the curtain group at the local temple. Start writing your thoughts in a notebook. Offer to help at your housing society's next meeting. Because the moment you begin again, your body responds. Your heart feels lighter. Your face softens. Your sleep becomes deeper. And your days stop blending together, they begin to sparkle. You are not too old. You are not too late. And those connections begin to strengthen your brain, protect your heart, and reduce your risk of depression. Modern science confirms what ancient Indian philosophy has always known. When the soul is engaged, the body becomes more resilient. Purpose creates positive pressure. It gives your days meaning and structure. And this ripple effect can begin with just one question. What gives my life meaning now? If you're listening to this and thinking I'm retired now, my work is done, or my best days are behind me, I want you to pause. Because maybe your purpose has changed, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean it's gone. It may be hidden under layers of grief or buried in the quietness of routine or even numbed by the fear that your role in this world has ended. But the truth is, your presence still matters. In Indian homes, we call elders Vardhan, a blessing. You hold stories, lessons, strength and softness that the younger generation deeply needs, even if they don't always say it. Your voice, your touch, your presence can anchor a family guide, a child, or simply bring comfort with a smile. Maybe your purpose now is to nurture your plants on the balcony, and through that rhythm,